Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you're well. Welcome to episode 129 of CrossButton VR, our journey into the world of VR. I'm your host, Reece, and it's an honor to be joined by Jammy Hero. It's always lovely to have you on here.
It's always lovely to be here. Episode 129. That's a lot of episodes. Today's is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many times we've had you on there. Like, I feel like
I want to say like 4, maybe 4.
Yeah, I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4 or 5. I don't know why.
4 or 5. Yeah, you're probably more accurate on that. I mean, you're on the show, so I have no idea.
I have no idea. So I'm gonna be honest. When Laurie used to be the host, he had a sheet, and he'd actually put what each episode we discussed or done. So we'd have like updates about, oh, we don't need to double back to that. We've already done that. That went straight out the window with him. I'm sure you've heard repeats. I think every episode's been the same since he's left, if I'm honest. But who knows?
We talk about the same thing, and then next time I come on, we talk about the same thing again.
Yeah, exactly. Last time. Yeah, jammy dodgers and shit like that, basically. But we've got a big episode, and if anyone has noticed, this has come out later. Actually 6 p.m. as opposed to 6:30 a.m. like we usually do every week. And the reason for that is VR, the elephant in the room, the elephant in the darkness, should I say? They're having their premiere gameplay that you've probably already seen before you've even clicked on this video. So if you have done that, awesome. If not, let us talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it at this point, right? Obviously, we've played.
No, we're just assuming what they're going to say, and I think we're going to touch on a little bit of that as well. And we're going to hope our views, our premonitions are right here of what we're going to say about the. I say what we're going to say about the premiere. I think we're going to. So we'll get to that, but yeah, me and you, beginning of September, travelled to London, didn't we?
We did.
I can't remember what day it was.
It was
a Tuesday. I can't remember the date.
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah, something along that.
Was it the 2nd? It was the 2nd of September. It was the 2nd. 100%.
100% the 2nd?
That's what I'm banking.
He's right. It is 100% the 2nd of September. So yeah, on the 2nd of September. I remember it well. It was a bloody great day.
It's a long train.
Long train journey.
It's a very long train.
Yeah, Jammy, on the way back, Jammy ended up resting his head on my shoulder. It was very romantic.
There's no proof of that.
There is no proof of that. There isn't. Because we don't own a pair of Meta AI display glasses. So
no,
we can't show you. But no, it was a great day.
It was.
We literally got there. I want to say around about like 10ish, 11ish, or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before our time of being there, but Jamie and Zena are pretty much like, yeah, just turn up at any time. We're already here. Come here, just relax and chill. And
some food, drink. It was great.
It was fantastic, and I've said it so many times. I think you've said it as well on your Reach video. I've said it on my Reach video. If you've been over to my channel or Jamie's channel, I'm pretty sure we've said it again on our feed videos as well. It was a great event. It was absolutely fantastic. Atmosphere was brilliant. It was very tight knit, but it was also in like a place just above the train station, wasn't it? Like every day.
Yeah, it felt like an old bomb shelter from like World War II. Is what it felt like in an endearing way.
The tiling,
it felt quite cozy.
The tiling actually reminded me of being on the underground in a way. It was it was really nice because me and you actually ended up doing an interview thing after doing Thief, wasn't it?
Oh god, I'm dreading to see that pop up somewhere.
Yeah,
if it's at this fucking gameplay event, I'm gonna throw myself out my window, man.
I'm kind of hoping either of us get shown on that because I feel like I couldn't find you at one point, so I was looking around this whole thing. Where the hell's Jammy gone? And I'm like, the bar. Let's check the bar. Wasn't there? I mean, bear in mind, the bar was literally open. Want sandwiches? Cool. You've got them. You want a drink? Brilliant. You can have a drink. So I was like, he'll be there, and I'm like, can't find him. When in this background, I'm just seeing him there, all mic'd up, looking extremely nervous. Just and then I think I made it worse by standing, and you could then spot me, and I was like,
I saw you come in. I was okay. I was like, so I don't know. With my
I think I was the nervousness, wasn't I?
Yeah. I'm used to like cameras. I'm used to speaking, and you know, it's both in the YouTube stuff for normal work stuff, and also uni stuff. It should be normal, and it was okay. And then you walked in, I was like, this fucking guy, man.
He's ruined the whole thing.
But I did stick around a little bit for yours to watch, but then I gave you the room. But it was fun. Like it was enjoyable little interview at the end, but I didn't really expect it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I had the same kind of impressions of that. I've never done. That was the first time in my whole life I've done anything like that, being mic'd up and then.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah.
Look directly at me. Now look at the camera. And now look back at me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I would like to see the product of that, like the final thing, even if they don't use the whole interview, just to kind of see how it looks. But at the same point,
yeah,
I feel like I think because I heard you say one point, and I think I said the same thing as well because it was pretty much accurate. But I actually kind of dived into some bits about Garrett and things like that. I don't know how much they wanted me to say and how much they didn't want me to say. It was very much a
That's the
what
thing.
do
Yeah,
I do? So that was interesting. So got to experience all these different things there. It was a lot of fun. It was just a really great event, and I hope VR Game Showcase, Jamie and Zena do another one eventually, and hopefully we'll be welcome to go again because it was an absolute blast to hang around with everyone, just get to talk to everyone, and just have a great time. And yeah, but
yeah.
enough of that. Let's actually talk about Thief VR.
Let's talk about the game.
Yeah. So I this is one of the reasons why I wanted you on to talk about Thief. I did a little snap for Reach just simply because I could show the quest side of gameplay. I can't really show. I've got one gameplay clip from Thief. They've not given us access to replay it and do things like that, so we can't capture things that we missed.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually going to do, we'll keep this normal cross-button style. You know, there'll be no gameplay you'll see here. We'll talk about it. You can then go over to links in the description. You'll have one there for me, and you'll also have one there for Jamie. You can watch both perspectives of how we played this demo.
Yeah.
First off, it was on the PSVR 2. I think that made us both happy in a way.
Yeah, I was very not like relieved when I walked in because like I would be fine with any headset. Although the Quest strap that I'd never used before, I could not figure out for the life of me for Reach. Sorry, so like I was trying to put that shit on, and there was like a front bit, and I was like, "What am I doing here?" So you came over and was like, "This is how you do it. You fucking idiot."
I don't remember doing
but,
that.
but for Thief, yeah, it was on the PSVR 2, and I think for the most part, the PSVR 2 port as where it stood technically was pretty good. It had, I think the one thing for me with your resolution wasn't, it felt like it was a little bit like the anti-aliasing solution felt like it was muddying stuff a bit far away, but for the most part the game looked the part.
Yeah.
But you're the more Thief inclined of the two of us, so I'd love to get your kind of view on how this looks as a Thief game rather than as a VR game.
So I think, and I've also kind of touched this as well a little bit, but I think so when I first loaded it up, I was like, okay, cool. I need this to feel like a Thief game. If it doesn't feel like a Thief game, I think I'm already going to write it off. And I think that's something they're going to have to do with a lot of fans. And I think what people want from each Thief game is going to be very different. The one from recent memory for me is the 2014 reboot. So that's pretty much still kind of stained my memory in a way. I've played it a few times. It was never regarded as the best one, but I always had a good time with it. So literally, I started it up and I was looking around. I was like, well, this looks like any kind of olden time house in VR because you're in the demo, it puts you in the tutorial, and you're in this house. And I instantly just started going around and rummaging everything because in every Thief game, it's like pick up gold, pick up this, and you get like a scoring system at the end of each level. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the thing on this one. We'll touch on that.
We didn't see the end, like,
no,
screen,
we didn't give
us
anything. It kind of just faded off into the next level. So I don't know what their plans are there. Hopefully they do something like that because the way it kind of works in the previous games is there'll be a certain amount of gold per level that you can collect. If you collect it all, brilliant. It kind of works as like a scoring collectible type of system. And I'm trying to remember if in the 2014 reboot if they had any kind of form of upgrades that was utilised from doing that. Can't really remember, but in my mind I want to say it did. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I was walking around his house. I was like, well, this looks like any other medieval type thing. And I remember in the trailers we saw you could kind of go up to the candles and pinch them out and things like that.
Yeah.
Did you try and do that?
I didn't know, actually. I low-key forgot everything about the trailers for both Thief and Reach going into these gameplay sessions. So I was just kind of like going through like completely clueless. The devs must have thought I was like a fucking idiot because I messed up so
no, that's
many
what we
things.
think, Jamie. Okay, the devs don't think that.
It's accurate. It's accurate. But no, I didn't try to do that. Like,
well,
light thing. Did it work?
It didn't, sadly. And we're gonna be completely transparent with everything. I'm not. This isn't throwing shade. I think we're allowed to talk about whatever we played, but I tried it and I was like, this isn't working properly. And they kind of did say there's a little bit of a bug with it at the moment. It's one of the things that they're working out. So he said you got to kind of go a little bit closer into it and put your hand in. I was like, oh, okay, because it kind of goes in the actual touching point is inside the candle. Then it lifted my hand back up, so I got it to work, but not how you would want it to work.
Okay.
But once it did work, I was like, ah, cool, that looks pretty cool. Didn't really do much for me because I had the hiccup of it not working. But at the same point, I'm like,
yeah, I didn't have that. Wow, maybe in the full build it'll be like,
and we should probably say
that
we did play a build that is regarded quite an early build. I think we were told.
Yeah, we didn't get an exact date on when this was compiled, but they said even at the event when I was speaking to the devs, they were like, "Yeah, we have a newer build already at the back of the studio,
Yeah.
but we couldn't bring it along with us." So I don't know the exact time frame of when this one was put together, but it wasn't like the newest one they had.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it did have. There was a fair bit of jank. I don't know. Yeah.
I'd say I had more hiccups than jank with things like that. But
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I think so. I did speak to Dev, and like you said, he said it is an earlier build, and he did say things that were meant to be in the newer builds and things like that. And I'm not going to touch on those, and I'm doing that because I simply don't know what's going to change in the pipeline. I don't want to say, oh, it's going to give you this in the new build, and then it comes out and that's not there at all.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to change. That might not be too ridiculous for them, and then they change something out. But they were giving me some further ideas of what was going to be in the new build, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds cool to me. I look forward to trying it, and being a fan of the Thief games, I was excited. And I think the moment this felt like a Thief game to me is when you slide up that window for the first time, because you grab it from the bottom, you lift it all up, and I thought that was really cool. You climb out the window and you drop down, and you're in this gritty, dark street that's wet. It looks run down, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is a Thief game, because that's exactly the Thief style game I'm familiar with the most. Is because on the 2014 reboot, it was pretty much dark streets and things like that. It's gritty, it's grimy, it's not clean, it's not been maintained. There's guards, and I was like, yeah, okay, this feels like a Thief game. This is exactly what I wanted.
Because for me, it's like I don't really have much. Because like when we came out of our gameplay sessions, I was like, man, I did really enjoy that experience, but I'm not really that familiar with the series, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I've seen like photos and the gameplay of the original, so I was like, okay, this kind of looks like it. But I'm glad to hear that it's like,
yeah,
it's about as accurate as it can be. It needs to be that for the flat screen fans to kind of want to get stuck into this.
yeah. I think with like translating this into VR, I think there's so many things they can get wrong. If they, but I think that one moment there was enough for me to go, okay, I'm happy to progress on through. I feel like if I jumped out there and we was walking down like a rainbow street with bright lights and everything looking really colourful and happy, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then I'd have taken the headset off and they would have been like, oh, sorry, that's a glitch or something like that. And then they were trying to coerce me back in. Get to the second level, it's a bit darker there. But no, instantly I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. How much stuff did you shove into your backpack in that beginning house, by the way? Did you shove everything?
Well, in terms of like the fucking, I don't think I really did much of that, to be honest. I went through and I got all of the gold and like loot I could like have for money. I took all of that. As for the items, though, I kind of fucked about with the art. There's like an armor on a stand,
yeah,
and that went all over the room, and also outside at the guards. Like I threw that everywhere. And there's also like there was a painting you could kind of. Did you do that? There was a painting where you could kind of like feel around the edges, and it.
No,
like,
I missed that.
And then yeah, so they basically, the devs made it really obvious to me. I think I was just lucky at the time that I came in to play the game, because they were like, "Oh, has anybody found the secret painting yet?"
Oh,
and they were like, "No," and I was like. And they were talking amongst themselves, but they said
Jammy Hero, I will find the secret painting.
And I was like, oh, I'll find it. And there's one very obvious painting in the room, which I was like, okay, it's got to be that. So you like you have haptics in the controllers that kind of get faster and faster when you get closer to like the secret mechanism in the painting, and then it kind of clicked open, and there's a little note and a little feather in there. So that was cool.
I'm glad to hear about the haptics, especially on that part. Yeah,
I can't say I noticed any haptic triggers or headset rumble really.
I don't
like there might have been some implementation, but.
From memory, I can't remember any kind of haptics. I think the only time I remember any kind of vibration was doing the lock picking. I think it's any time.
Yeah. So it's in the controllers, but not in the triggers, not in the head. But there's always room to add that stuff in. A lot of the time, that won't be a priority, will it, on development?
Unless you're there's a certain game we'll talk about later on. They seem to implement haptics all from the start for some reason, which is quite interesting. But I mean, yeah, I think the tutorial. While it was cool, there was some. I literally, I played on one PlayStation and moved over to the next because the one
you had to swap, didn't you?
Yeah, because the one I was playing on, it had a bug and it basically didn't allow any footage to be captured. I think it was to do with some sort of privacy setting that's made on the dev kit. So they kind of basically said you can't capture on these ones. They tried to bypass it; it wouldn't work. It wouldn't even let them bring him out of the game, which was quite funny.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so I ended up getting moved over. But once I took the headset off, I kind of. He was like, well, what did you think of the tutorial? And I was like, it's cool, but there's certain parts where you've put a tutorial guide up too soon. If you get what I mean, it made me think I had to go back on myself already when I didn't. And I don't know if you did the same thing. There's a part in the tutorial where you go down an alleyway and there's a fence, and it says, bits in it to climb, and the wording comes up to climb the fence. And I started climbing it straight away and climbing over, and then walked off. And the bloke was like, "Oh, you don't need to go back there yet." And I was like, "But the indicator has now basically said you can climb this." So instantly my mind's going, "Oh, I should climb this because you're tutorialing me to go climb this." He's like, "Oh yeah, maybe we should probably change that so that's actually there when you come back on yourself, so you know you can do that."
Yeah, rather than
I said, yeah, that would probably be a better idea. So I got to admit, I think the devs probably got a lot of useful ideas from the amount of people they watched and how they played the game. Because let's be honest,
I think so. Yeah,
this is the best type of playtesting they can see. They can view how someone's going to play their game. How idiotic, which in my case, we're playing a lot of VR games at events. I don't know how I do it. I'm magical at ruining a game at an event.
You break everything somehow. Like I come out the thing and I'm like, oh man, that game was so good, wasn't it? And you're like, yeah, apart from the bit my fucking headset exploded, and I'm like, how have you done that? It's every time.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I always kind of like, oh, I ain't gonna break this one, and I can't believe I did it with both games.
You did, yeah.
Did it with both
games,
of
them,
yeah. Which is surprising, but I think the tutorial was good fun. I had moments where I was being stupid, like I'd go into light and then the guard would swap me, and I was like, throw the bottle off while he's looking at me. And I actually made the dev laugh because he's like, "Why did you throw the bottle while he was looking at you?" I was like, "I don't know. I just kind of thought the AI might have been like, oh, there's a sound over there. I'll go check that instead of looking at the person."
Check out.
And he's like,
guy in front of me. Yeah.
He's like, "Thankfully the AI is not that bad." I was like, "No, clearly they're not. He's still standing there looking at me. He's not went, oh, what's that noise or anything." So there was some moments where I think I made myself chuckle with the dev that was watching, which I didn't get his name, but it was a very lovely person, just kind of monitoring over.
They were a really nice team.
They were. Everyone was like, yeah, we got to meet the studio director, wasn't it? I think is it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really bad with remembering titles and names, so it probably was.
Yeah, I spoke to them a bit. Yeah, they were all very lovely. And that goes for both teams. It wasn't just obviously FIFA. Obviously, MG's absolutely lovely. We spoke to them for quite a bit as well. They sat down with us and spoke with us. And
they did.
That was just on like a personal level, not so much a let's talk about games level, which I think was quite nice as well. But back to FIFA, obviously. So you did the tutorial. Was there any other things you want to touch on that you think were come to mind that you liked?
I mean, I enjoyed that. Like the visual presentation again felt very like moody. I'm not a person that enjoys that sort of stealth stuff in flat. I just don't. That's not the type of game. It's because I have no patience. I'm the most fucking impatient human being on planet Earth. I need to shoot things, and it needs to happen now. So with stuff like that, I really struggle. But in VR, I found it was a lot more fun because I felt like I was actually, sneaking around, and it was me. It introduces you to like the bludgeon as well that you've got. Like, and I enjoyed that. That was fun. Yeah, you got a little baton, and you get to sneak up to a guard. You can hit them in the knee, and then they fall over, and then you hit them on the head. That was a lot.
Joe, I didn't realise you could hit him in the knee. I just stood up behind him and just hit him on the head and just watched him fall. Yeah. I tell you what.
Yeah, if you hit him in the knee, they go down a little bit, and then you do the final blow and you hit him over the head.
Say, this is why I'm glad I got you here, because you clearly did things for me. I was like, sneak up behind him and just got a bonk.
Just fucking clobber.
Although
it felt a little bit like it had simulated weight though. And I felt like it needed a little bit of tuning.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more weighty. Just simply because I think similar way to you, I kind of felt like when I hit him on the head, it didn't really make contact in a sense.
It felt like it was kind of like, do you know, like in Saints and Sinners, you've got like, say if you two-hand a gun. You one-handed gun that should be two-handed in it.
Yeah, it kind of sways a little bit. Yeah,
it felt like that, but it wasn't very predictable.
Yeah,
but it still felt like I never failed to do the action that I wanted to do. It's just like the visual feeling of it is the only thing.
And again, that might have already been changed. We have no idea
exactly.
But, what I want them to add in though is like just a little add-on, just for the fun of it, is like a cartoon bonk noise. Anytime you do that, like. Dong. Bonk. Yeah, just something like that.
Yeah. Especially on metal if it's got a helmet on.
Yeah, like, I just want something cartoony. So every time I do it, I just chuckle into myself because I think that'd be perfect. But yeah, no, the little bludgeon thing. I think I only used that once or twice in the entire.
I used it all the fucking time. Whenever there was a guard that was on his own, I was just like immediately fucking And the devs, I took the headset. The devs like, "Oh, you really like the bludgeon, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, it's great."
Can we get a knife added, please?
Can I have a fucking machine gun added to the game? But yeah, it'd be great.
That's coming in the DLC.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
But
But overall, the tutorial was it was good. Didn't last too long, but it kind of taught you most of the things you needed to know, apart from the bow and arrow, right, which was in the main level, the
I
next one.
feel like they should have added that into the tutorial, even if there's some sort of concept where it gets taken away from you. But obviously, I'm assuming when you unlock that in the game, it kind of gives you a quick little overview of what to do with you.
Yeah, because we jumped ahead a fair bit.
I'm going to
with
say
that
it's,
second
yeah, I'm
level,
going
I
to say
think.
it's a few chapters ahead, just simply because of how it kind of presents the next bit of the story. And again, like coming back to how does it feel for a Thief fan, and I even said this to the dev when I got out of the headset, like hearing Garrett in your ears for the first time in this VR version, I think he saw me just get a big shit-eating grin on my face when I heard his voice, and I was just like, oh mate, it just it was a voice actor who does a character in a game that's been doing it for so long, and you kind of feel like I thought like after the 2014 reboot, we were never going to hear him do the voice again, and then when they announced that he's coming back, I was like, awesome, because I thought they were just going to be doing something completely separate, and as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, yep. That's it. That's all I needed. It just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of like surrounded me. Like
On board.
there was nothing else happening in that room at the time. I couldn't hear like 10 other people talking in the background. There was just me and Garrett, and then obviously hearing, the main character's name. I keep calling her Little Bird.
Magpie.
Magpie. Yeah, it's Magpie. I keep calling her Little Bird. I don't know why. But yeah,
That's a helicopter.
Is it a helicopter? Oh well, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah. So when you hear Magpie's voice, I was like, oh, shh. Garrett's talking. Let me just hear Garrett for a bit, But again, that was just another thing that kind of just made me feel like, yeah, this is a Thief game, and I think that kind of just shows you how big that voice actor is. I always forget his name, but he's quite he's a seasoned voice actor. He's been doing this for a long time, and I think it just kind of shows you how powerful that voice is to this franchise. Is that just that one voice just pops up, and instantly I'm like, this is a Thief game. Now, I'm sure if I heard his voice in anything else and he did a Garrett voice, I'd be like, this is a Thief game. I don't care if it's called Call of Duty. It's a Thief game. So it's just, it was just incredibly powerful. And I think that did a lot for me. And I think I'm glad. I don't think I'm glad. I'm happy they actually added that in there for you to kind of hear his voice. Because I think if I...
it shows care, doesn't it? Like, from the dev side. I think that separates a lot of, like, shit adaptations. Not saying there are many in the VR space, because there aren't really, like, flat games. Most of the ones we've had over the last couple of years have been, like, phenomenal.
Yeah,
but it's very easy to just phone it in. But in terms of that level of detail, shows they're not. And like I'm not really into the Thief franchise, so that didn't really do anything for me because I don't know this guy. But it was great coming out of it and hearing that you're like,
yes, I got out there. I was like, Jamie, we need to go outside for a little bit, mate. I need a bit of fresh air. Okay. That was a bit too intimate, It's just. It was what I needed. I think, like I said, I think.
Yeah, you were very happy. It was great to see that afterwards. You're like, man, there's the voice actors back. I was like,
and obviously at this time as well, like we had only seen that one reveal trailer, and that reveal trailer gave away next to nothing. Other than you could do the thing with the painting, you could do the thing with the candles, and that was about it. And then at the end of the trailer, you heard Garrett's voice, and it was like one line or something like, I can't remember if he said something like, "What am I doing here?" or "I'm awake." I can't remember what he says, but it's just like a one line, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's back!" And that was literally it for the trailer for me. And then like getting to hear it, I was like, "Okay, this is everything. This is just what I needed right now." So yeah, it was just pure happiness. And then I'll let you take it away of what you did on the first bit. We'll get to the courtyard bit, and I'll let you tell what you did.
So in the after the tutorial, it comes to the second level. Introduces the bow and arrow, which
and the
eye. Yeah, you have like kind of like, I mean, people are saying it's similar to some of the Quest games that I haven't played. Is it either Assassin's Creed or the Batman Quest game that had a similar?
Oh, Batman, yeah, it does,
yeah, Batman. But for me, I felt like it was basically just like eagle vision from the flat screen at Assassin's Creed. So you basically put your hand up to your eye and you can like see wires go into different generators and stuff that will power stuff like spotlights and
guards movements and things like that.
Yeah, basically stuff like that, and where you can lockpick and like this big sprawling like mansion that you had to get into somehow and then get out. And like it showed how we did things differently because I immediately like went to the left and went down a little path and lockpicked, and there was this generator I could have taken down, but I needed an item that I didn't have. So there's the bit you can kind of mess with in terms of the sandbox and how you want to make it easier for yourself, or if you just want to go in. I failed a lot during this point, like there were 3 guards around this little bit and I kept getting caught and then I'd run away and get killed. But it shows us quite a different, like you can take it in various different ways. And I enjoyed this. Like, I'm very much a player that as soon as I'm presented with something new like this, it's like I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. But then after a couple of runs, I like you get into the flow of it, and I felt that way here. Using the bow and arrow and using the bludgeon and like distracting guards and stuff with the throwing objects, and eventually getting into the mansion. It felt quite satisfying to sneak around, which for a player like me who doesn't usually enjoy that shows that in VR it's very different. And I felt they did a good job with that. I will say though, you do get introduced to the bow and arrow here, and it didn't. I don't know, need some work. Again,
Yeah.
don't know what stage this build is in. Most of the other mechanics here, at least that I got to experience, felt pretty cohesive. Like the mechanics here feel good. It was just the general build obviously needs polish because it's early. But for the bow and arrow, that did need a fair bit of work, especially after jumping into Reach after this. I hate to draw comparisons because
Yeah.
like, they're both great little games in their own right from what we played.
I
But
think we said that there as well. We said how they kind
yeah,
of complemented each other to kind of go off of one
yeah,
to the other because I think the pacing is completely different. So I think that was quite
it's
nice
completely
as well.
different. Yeah. But that bow and arrow, yeah, after playing with Reach's bow and arrow, which feels so good, the one in Thief just isn't quite there in the current state that we played in, at least. Because it didn't like outright break for me, which I'm sure you'll touch on in a second. But it just didn't feel that intuitive in aiming. It does have some different arrow types, which are quite cool. Like I enjoyed the fire arrows, the water arrows. There was a certain bit where there's a furnace in the mansion. Once you're in,
Yeah.
you're trying to steal this artifact, and you could shoot a water arrow into the bottom, and it would put out the fire. And then you can climb down and have a different route. But the actual arrow itself, I didn't find was intuitive enough to really want to keep using against the guards. For me, it was more like I'm just going to throw an object, distract them, and then beat them to death with a stick.
And again,
So,
that's very reflective to Thief games. This,
yeah,
and I think it's the best way, but this is not a combat game. This is not a game where you're going to run in,
no,
and rush in, and take out all the enemies with your arrows. You're going to find a couple of arrows, and you're going to probably have like the inventory space for 2 or 3 arrows, if I remember rightly.
yeah,
I'm not so sure if it's
yeah.
the same in this one, but like other Thief games, like you can get pouches that upgrades with that, but like the general consensus, if you have a certain amount of arrows, and these arrows are used more for deterrence and things like that, or some enemies if they're unarmored.
Yeah, when you really fuck up, you know,
yeah, like
that sort of thing.
because
Yeah,
I had like a guard rush to me, and he had like a visor on, and the dev was like, "You can take him out, but you literally have to have like the best aim ever, like to get it through his
the aiming
visor."
was pretty difficult, to be fair. I don't think it really helped you at all, which I guess makes sense for a game like this.
Yeah, so like I was like, oh, okay, I think what I said to him was, oh, okay, I'm fucking, I play VR all the time, mate. I can do this. I can do it. I ran off with my towel between my legs, sprinting and screaming. But it's again, it's very reflective of a Thief game. Like you would only take out an enemy that has no armor on, and you get a headshot, and you'd be like, okay, cool, that's it. I did have a moment with the arrow, and I'll quickly touch on that now. It's, there's a rope arrow. You can find certain points of interest where you can shoot one of the rope arrows to it, and you can climb up. And the devil's going, why don't you have a little look around? Because he was trying to nudge me to show off this rope arrow feature. And I feel for him on this section. I really feel sorry for him because he's like, oh yeah, try out the rope arrow. You can climb up there and you can find out what's in that room because you can't get in there. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm looking up at this this bit where the point is to shoot the rope arrow, and I'm aiming at it, and I go to shoot and I miss. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get a little bit closer. I go to get a little bit closer. I put the arrow in. I go to shoot, and my bow literally just spins out of control. And I'm like, I've got no more rope arrows. And I went, that didn't work. It span out of control. He's like, yeah, that's not meant to happen. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of assumed that, but this is the whole
confirmation.
This is the whole point of these kind of like little playtest things for creators
to see what goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's like, I've not seen that before. And I'm like, take your word for it, mate. I do feel like it's a bit of a freak accident because throughout the rest of the demo, bow and arrow never did anything like that. So it span out, and I was like, I can't get that from now, can I? He's like, nah. I was like, no. Can I get a key? He's like, you can get a key, but you got to kind of find it. I was like, all right, okay, well, I suppose I better find another way then. So it was just
you feel for them, don't you? In that moment,
it was
like
it was because he was nudging me towards it, like go do it, and I thought that was I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And yeah, it didn't really work out. But let's touch on like the alarm system and things like that, because this is where the play styles can really be separated of how you play
deviated a bit. Yeah,
exactly. And I think this makes me look terrible as someone who's played previous Thief games. So you crack on with how you managed yours and how you retrieved your goods and got out. Let's go through the whole main section.
Yeah. So after like the courtyard bit, which I failed a couple of times, I managed to get in, climbed up. You basically climb up to these rafters on the left side, which is quite cool, and then you drop down. It's a couple of guards, do some stealthy stealth, kill them, or
Yeah.
just knock them out. In this case,
Knock
they
'em
go to
out.
sleep, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They
And
snore.
then there was, can I head up to a main study and you solve a little puzzle which involves pulling books in a
I
certain
love
order, which
that.
was
I love
that was
that.
really cool. It felt a bit like House of Da Vinci, which I
Yeah.
really enjoyed earlier this year. Like it's very tactile and clicky. Um, and then yeah, you get like basically like access to where you need to go down in the basement. And in on the way there's another room you can enter if you got a certain item, I think it was, or if you deviated a bit, and you could then take out some of the guard stuff, so you could deactivate certain areas, lower certain like gates and things like that. And I did go in and do that. There was also a generator outside for the spotlights, which would make getting in and getting out a lot easier. But I didn't do that one. But you can do that one.
Yeah, I didn't do the
But
generator
yeah,
outside.
but I ended up doing the one inside, and then I got in, snuck down. There's a little lock picking challenge by sleeping guard, and in our build you couldn't fail the lock picking. They wanted to make it kind of like seamless for us because we were on like game journalist difficulty. But yeah, we were doing that, got through, stole the artifact, and got out of there, which was it's quite a fun little escape because I then went around the side that I didn't come in on the way in. It's like all open plan basically.
Yeah.
Like there's areas where you can and can't go depending on what you've unlocked, like whether you've opened a certain pathway. But for the most part, if you want to tackle it any way you want, then you're free to do so,
Which I loved.
which is
I loved
really
that.
cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you said you had to go down in the basement. How did the
Yes.
goods, you know, the bit that you got to steal? How did that? Is there like something to make that go down into the basement?
Oh yeah. So the actual place of thing you meant to steal was in like
In
a
this,
main library kind of
yeah.
study. Yeah. And then as soon as you get in there, kind of an alarm triggers, gates go up, and then the artifact you need slides down
Oh,
to the
okay.
basement level.
You did the same thing as me, then, and you kind of you have to climb up and press the button to get out of the room.
Yes. So you
Oh,
have to
okay.
climb up the ceiling. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
under,
Okay. I
I was
completely
under
missed
the,
that out.
I
Yeah.
was under the impression that you did something different there. I thought you got in
No,
without.
no,
I
no,
thought you
yeah,
turned off
no.
the alarm because you meant to do the key first, then go into the room.
Yeah, I did the alarm later.
So, okay, cool. So we both did the same thing. Then we didn't deviate or
Yeah,
change that
yeah.
part, yeah. But mate, I tell you what, getting trapped in a room in a VR game is like more games need to do that because I was like, shit, well, how do I get out? I was literally looking around that room for a
Yeah,
solid minute
yeah.
or so, and like I think the dev was kind of like, he's got another 10 more minutes in this demo for the next person. Please. Maybe you should look around and see what you can.
Yeah, they literally did the same thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mimir. You know, it feels like I was playing God of War again at that section.
It's like-
Obviously, I'm kidding around. It was
Sitting there going, hey, listen,
Yeah.
look up.
I was like, oh, I can climb up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I did exactly the same thing. Like you meant to climb up this rafter to get up to turn off the security alarm, and I was like sat there on this balcony, like looking around, being like,
So
where am I
security
going?
alarm, like the actual alarm for getting the treasure, is
Mm.
once you've done the puzzle, you get the key there, and then you go into the back room and you turn off the alarm there. I think if you do that first, then
Yeah.
you can get it through the study. And I like that whole idea of like, oh shit, I could have done this, and I'm
You
hoping
could
it,
have stealthed it a bit
yeah,
more.
and I'm hoping
that could be replay value for that, couldn't it?
and that's what I'm hoping because the original games had like, did you do it stealthily? And there was actually like trophies of things like a science that complete the whole game without getting spotted, all that kind of stuff. Which is
I will not be doing that. For
if
this
they
game,
add
that's
that
it.
into this game, I can assure you I would not be getting the platinum because
Yeah.
sitting around and waiting for a guard to go, wait, you're like this the whole time. I mean, it's fine when you're playing the game to progress through a story, but when you're going in and doing challenges, you'll be like, is he going to fucking move yet? Kind of thing. And it was like that sometimes. But yeah, okay, we did the same thing. I took out a couple of enemies with the bow. I don't know if you managed to do any of that.
I hit one enemy.
And he didn't die?
I don't think I hit him in the head though. I think I hit him in the body, and he didn't die. And then I missed the next 2 arrows, and then I resorted to running away.
I love how we're both as bad with this bow and arrow.
Yeah,
So
I was fucking awful with it. I was terrible. I can't. The dev's like, oh, you get this brand new mechanic. Yeah, watch me waste it in front of your eyes. Yeah, great. Now, I'm the guy that got invited to this thing to test your game. Oh yeah.
I bet the devs are just looking at us like these fuckers never used a bow in VR. And I did actually say to devs afterwards, I'm like, bow and arrows in VR games is not my first choice. Like if somebody says, "Oh, you use a bow in this," I'm like, okay, cool, I'll play it because I like the look of the game, but I'm not going to be good with the bow. And
yeah,
this was very much how I wasn't good with the bow. I took out 2 enemies with it though, and I felt pretty proud of that. But
okay.
at the same point, when I took them out, I was kind of like, I felt like that could have been a bit more. Like when they got hit, I felt like they could have staggered a bit more, or You know, they could have made.
It's a bit like that in Reach as
Yeah,
well. I felt like I should have mentioned that a bit more in my Reach video. I think in retrospect, because I didn't really feel it at the time. But looking back at
yeah.
the gameplay, I feel like there needed to be more of like reactivity there. But I guess with the guards for me, I didn't really know if they reacted or not because I barely hit them with the bow and
And
arrow
that's
in Thief. So
and that's why I like doing like it's like I know it's a bit different, but I mean like that's why I like doing CrossButton VR and also my own channel as well because I like to keep it very streamlined on my own channel. I do the video straight to the point, all that kind of stuff. But here I can really touch in on things and stuff like that. So there's certain bits that I feel like, especially with it being such an early build, I was like, it doesn't really matter if we mention that right now because the likelihood is when you sense something's completely wrong in a game, you could be like, that's going to get changed, and there were
yeah,
very
it's
much
gonna be
assurance
fixed,
of yeah. So it's like I did that bit, and I think I went the same direction as you. I found a chest that had no chest around it, but the goods that you could see. I don't know if you saw that chest.
I don't think
There's
so.
a floating invisible chest, and again the devil went to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's meant to be a box around that," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Again, I kind of assumed that. I don't know why this light is now like really bright on my face. Let's turn it down. Like, where's that coming from?
You'd be like super.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like, there was a chest that I could just see 3 gold bars in that was invisible,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't get them out.
Interesting. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did not
I
see
couldn't
that.
pick lock it because I couldn't find the lock on it because it's visible. He's like, yeah, that's just a little bug, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, we know we see these things. We're expecting
Yeah,
to see
that
these
sort of thing
things.
is going to be
Like,
sorted.
and
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, we've already noted that one down, but I think the certain little hiccups I had, they noted all down. But I think by
I
the
think
time,
it's yeah,
yeah, go on.
yeah. Go on, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say by the time I got to the end of it, like I got out of that headset and I was like, I want more of this. I want more Thief in VR. Like as a fan of the previous ones, I was like, I need more of this. Like this was fun to me. This was like
The
being
fundamentals there, yeah,
yeah,
great.
and I think that's the best way of wording it. They've got the foundation down, but from that, what we've played, we know more work needs to be implemented. Now, I'm kind of hoping that what we've all seen today, before you've clicked on this, or prior to or after clicking whatever you've done, I'm hoping the trailer they showed, the gameplay build, is not the build that we played. I'm hoping it's now they've had time to cook the other one a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just kind of that's a hope from my perspective there. But at the same point, um, maybe it is the same one, and they're just kind of gauging perspective and what people think of what they see.
I think you could definitely cherry pick a nice trailer out of the footage that we got, though.
Oh,
Sure,
definitely,
but
yeah. There's some great footage from like what we did, especially if you walking around bonking everyone on the head. I'm glad I worded it that
yeah,
way
there's a
and not
lot
any
of
other way. But it was fun, and I think we both kind of were like happy with it. I think we sat down, we kind of decompressed our thoughts. It was like, yeah, overall it was enjoyable, and
yeah,
I do want more of it.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I think that's like my resounding final kind of thoughts on it is that yeah, that foundation's good. Some things I'm completely okay with, like the actual like bugs of disappearing items or whatever. Completely content with that because it's something that's going to be fixed, you know. But it's the stuff like the bow not feeling quite like I don't know as spot on as
I
it should be. Maybe for
feel
me,
like it
it's
needs
what
more of
worries
it.
me a little bit more. Yeah,
I feel like in the settings as well, like whether they choose to do this or not, like an accessibility option to make the bow a little bit easier to people to use. Yes, I
yeah.
think
On
it should be.
PSVR 2, use eye tracking. I would say,
Yeah,
like use that to help, like
that
Horizon does.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. But I mean, like, I know Thief was always difficult with the bow. It's not a weapon that you're
Yeah,
really
yeah,
using to attack. And maybe they're trying to do that same thing. But I think in VR, a thing that's not working because in VR, you're physically doing it yourself. You think that's your
yeah.
skill you have, not by what the character's limitations are, because then, therefore, they're your limitations. That's not how it kind of works. So I think, like, by a bow not working or me not, my aim being completely off, I was like, looking dead at him, like. So,
Yeah.
and you did have, like, this little crosshair thing, didn't you?
There's a crosshair. It was
Yeah.
weirdly aligned.
Yeah, and you have to like
I don't
line
know.
all the free circles and things like that. And it's like I've lined them all up, and still I wasn't hitting. So I was like, I feel like this is kind of either the game playing to me. You can't be this good with it. I'm not saying I was good with it, but it felt like it was kind of like being like you can't be like the best bowman in the whole game kind of thing. I'm not really
Yeah,
too
you're not
sure.
gonna be like Aloy or anything from Horizon, you know.
I've got the
And I
hair.
feel like, I think this build for Thief even, I saw some outlets like, for example, Ian Higton with Reach liked it, but felt that it was like a bit flat in certain areas. I think for Thief, I don't know how it's going to be received by certain like I don't know people and creators who maybe wouldn't be that impressed with it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be
I
some.
think there's going to be some who are like I wasn't impressed with the build at all, and like from where I'm sitting, I know this build needs some work, and they're getting feedback from us, but also there is that side of you're bringing a build to show to creators who are showing to your potential audience what the game is like.
And then they
And there
comment
is
on it, what they want, and then they see all that, and it works.
exactly, yeah.
You know, like, I mean, if we was just sitting in shitting on the whole thing, I mean, that's not helping anyone. Like, I can see the foundation, like you said, the fundamentals are there. Like, it's got the build that you want for the foundation, the way the game looks, and things like that. But now they can run with that and do more things of how it's going to be. I mean, that's game development for you. You know, things are going to change in every single process. But I think for me, and I'm going to mention Metro here, not just simply because this is being published by Vertigo and Metro was done by Vertigo as well. Metro did everything for me, not because of the way the game was, but because it was a franchise that I really like, and they managed to capture that in VR, that raw essence.
Yeah, that feeling. Yeah,
and plus they also had the original writer in doing the story as well, which made it even better. Yeah. So for me, it was like
it kind of slotted in nicely story-wise.
For me, they kind of just went, "Here you go." They just grabbed me, they nestled me, and they went, "Here's Metro Awakening." And they just popped that right in me, and I was like, "Oh, I was happy as hell." And I feel like, again, this is something I kind of got from this. I was like, this feels like you've gave me Garrett's voice, you've gave me the way the game looks, and I was like, I'm happy, kind of thing. But
as long as Thief is that similar, like treatment, it's okay. But I'm interested to see how other creators and outlets I respect, take this one on and kind of react to it.
Yeah, I do feel like it needs to be more VR-y in some places, almost like the way, like if you was to put your hand on the wall, like maybe like your hand would kind of touch the surface, things like that, make you grip the corner and peek or something like that. There were certain bits like that where I was like, okay, I feel like with a game like this, I kind of wanted to put my hand in the corner and take a little.
It needs to be more tactile with it.
Yeah, like I feel like them type of things I wanted. So hopefully there's things that will get added and get changed, and we'll see what it's like when it comes and fully releases. I'm sure you'll hear both myself and Jamie speaking about it when it arrives, as with everything that seems to come these days. Anything else you want to touch on with Thief? Because we've now spent like the whole topic of 40 minutes speaking about Thief, and I've still got the news, which I'm going to breeze through.
Yeah, we'll blast through that.
Okay.
Thief, I think I'm pretty happy with everything thoughts wise. Yeah, good time. Need some work in places. Expecting that work will be done.
Yeah.
I would not be unhappy if the game got pushed back to next year if it needed that time. But we haven't seen the build that currently exists at the studio, so it could be this year also.
And we don't know whether that's what they're going to show or what
exactly.
They've shown. Yeah. So we're just idiots. But if you want more streamlined faults, like I said, there'll be a link in the description where you can see the gameplay along with my faults and Jamie's faults, a bit more streamlined and not 40 minutes long, I would hope. So let's quickly rush through the news, which the word in there is perfect, because the first bit of news I have is Rush Apex Edition is coming out on the 6th of November to PSVR 2 from Binary Mill. This is what happened.
Never played the original.
Do you know what? Me either. I played. I feel like I kept getting this confused with Sprint Vector at one point because that was fast. But I don't think I played the original, or maybe I did, or maybe I bought it. I can't remember. It required me to look through my PSVR 1 games, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's too much effort. But either way, Binary Mill listened to everyone just constantly asking for this. When are you going to do the Rush port? You've given us Into Black. That was fantastic.
Such great devs, man.
You've given us Resist. That was fantastic. But then Gun Club. That was fantastic. I mean, when have they released a game and it's just been like, this is subpar? Never.
Even if like for Gun Club, for me, as somebody who enjoys like shooters like that, like the gun handling was fantastic, and like some of the gameplay in terms of the shooting range, I would prefer to shoot at real targets. But like the point of the game was that, so I can't fault the game on that. But the port, like, they're always top notch. They're always great. Like Into Black was fantastic. Resist was fantastic.
Into Black for me, I genuinely think that's one game that's literally just brought back more love for VR. I feel like, and I think you'd agree with this. You play so many games, and I think sometimes like you play one game and it's like, that's not what I wanted this be, and you see this like table just constantly dropping of like your kind of perception of how VR games should be, because you end up playing so much shit that it's just not really what it's meant to be. And then you get that one game and it just makes you go, bosh, back up to the top.
Like, okay. That was Into Black, I think.
That did everything for me. I was like, yep, I needed this. This came at the right time. And I'm incredibly hyped to play Rush, and I'm sure we'll all be raving about that. And again, Binary Mill, they've done fantastic work. So I don't have any kind of concern to this whatsoever. None.
No, neither. I think it'll be like that sort of. I used to play a lot of Steep when I was younger. The Ubisoft like snowboarding game, and that had a wingsuit in it, And if it's anything
Oh
like that,
yes.
but VR,
What was that? I'm gonna have to try and
once I
remember that
die,
name.
yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be great. I think.
It was that co-op one they did as well, weren't there? That you could do all the different kind of snowboarding and things like. I can't remember what it's called. You've unlocked a memory in my head. But yeah, looking forward to that. We won't stick on it too much. Let's go on to the next bit of news. Forefront open beta is starting on Quest 2, 3, 3S, and Steam, which is going to be starting on the 9th of October and it will end on the 20th of October, giving you a nice bit of time to play it. Unless you're like Jamie, who will be buying Battlefield 6 and playing that instead.
It's an interest. I will be trying Forefront for sure because it's really interesting to me. But damn, they could not have picked a worse time for like a Battlefield fan to push their Battlefield VR game. Because Battlefield 6, I guess there's a day I could play before because BF6 comes out on the 10th.
Okay. So we're jumping on the 9th then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I could jump on the 9th and try it out. But as soon as BF6 comes out, that's going to be kind of my main driving game. I think because it's such a big launch. It's been 4.5 years or something, 4 years since Battlefield 2042 came out, and I
played the beta of Battlefield 6, and I've got to admit, it kind of like I haven't played a shooter in a long time, but Battlefield 6 kind of made me go, "Oh,
it feels like quality."
I think I could be swayed to buy this. But Forefront, I'll definitely be jumping in. I didn't jump into the previous betas just simply because I kind of wanted more feedback from the initial people, that the initial guinea pigs to jump in and go, "Oh, this working," and then do that. And then
I heard that it's fun, but I hear that there's some stuff in there that needs to work.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. So like I was kind of like, I'm not too disappointed with not jumping in the first few times, but I can see where they're going with it and kind of hope when I play it, I'm gonna be happy, and I'll be jumping in on probably the 9th of October, and I'll annoy you.
Yeah.
Hopefully not as much.
I'm very down.
Hopefully not as much to be going, "Oh, do you want to play Tactical Assault, Jamie?"
Although that one worked out very well. Like, it's fucking incredible.
Next bit of news, and I think I haven't jumped back into this game much, to be honest, and I think this is more a happiness for you. Hitman World of Assassination has got an overhaul to PC VR, which that's not really going to cater to you too much, but for everybody else that's been asking for it, there you go. It's there.
Yeah, the PSVR 2 version is now on Steam,
which I think everyone needed. And also the updates include the Freelancer mode, and I believe there was a Bruce Lee DLC that came as well.
So it's a bit like
I'll let you take over because I don't really.
It's so in Hitman. I mean, I haven't got that many hours in the game, but I have enjoyed every moment that I've played of it. But you get like targets that come along that are usually like celebrities. Like we had the Lashif from Bond, and it's kind of, you get one try of doing it basically. I think you can restart until you hit a checkpoint, and then you've got one try of doing it for free, and then you got to wait until it becomes like a paid DLC later. But you can try it for free, and that's what the Bruce Lee thing is. That's playable in VR, but the main one really is Freelancer. So that's basically like it generates random targets for you in different locations, and you build up your gun collection, and you build up basically all of that, and it gets more difficult until you end up failing, and then you're back to the start. So it's basically like a roguelite mode. And I had a great experience the other day hopping in and trying that for the first time because I never had before. And I went on the Hokkaido map set in Japan, and that's like northern, like onsen, like hot spring Japan, and it's an amazing map. And I was just like, damn, this is some content that I never experienced before because I hadn't played it in the campaign yet, with 2 targets that I've never seen before because they're like generated. And I'm having a great time exploring the map and kind of taking on these missions. So it's a whole lot of content for people who maybe have completed the campaigns, and even if you haven't, it's worth jumping into as a separate thing. So I'm very glad they've done that. Like now it's one of the games with the most content ever on any VR platform, as well as PSVR 2.
I think that's what me and Laurie said when we first kind of spoke about it after we played it. This as a game, like when it first came out on PSVR 2, it's like there is so bloody much for you to do in this game. There is, this is not something you're going to play for 8 hours and be like, okay, cool, that's it, on to the next VR game because I completed this one, don't need to go back to it. This is the gift that's been, just keeps on giving. It's almost, I think it's now sat next to No Man's Sky as that game on PSVR 2. It's just like, you've always got something to do. There's always
that's me with GT7 as well.
Oh yeah, GT7 I think goes on there as well.
Yeah, that's my most played PSVR 2 game. I think I've got about like coming towards 300 hours in GT7, and the first
and I've got 0
flat screen. But after that, oh man, you need to play it. It's so
I know.
good,
Every time I mention it, there's someone in the comments, it'll happen again. Somebody will be like, T, when are you going to be getting GT7? I'm like, whenever there's a decent sale enough to make me risk it buying a game that I would never usually play. And that's always the
You
answer.
should try. Have you tried the free demo?
I
The
did,
My
yeah.
First
We
Gran Turismo?
spoke about this last time.
Oh, we have, haven't
yeah,
we?
I felt like it.
See, we do talk about the same things again and again.
See, welcome to CrossButton VR. But no, there was a. No, it's just a bit patronising for me. I just didn't really get on with it.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah.
They're very like, this is how you press the X button, and now you drive your
just-
car
it
and
just
do a
felt
little
like-
license test.
Do you remember like that little toy when you was a kid that you put the triangle in the triangle, you put the circle in the circle?
Yeah,
It felt like it was that like kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really need this. Like, I've just got home. Like, I kind of just want to just drive and just see how this looks.
yeah.
And I got to see how it looks, and it did make me go, oh, when this eventually goes to a good sale, I'll take the plunge.
Pick
Because
it up.
everyone said to me like, don't compare the two of them. Like, don't like that is literally an introduction, and probably in some regards probably the worst introduction because
Yeah,
it doesn't have the same kind of level. But
no,
yeah.
it's the main game is fantastic. I think Hitman's on that level now. Like, if I was really, because GT7
I
for me
love
is the
Hitman.
online racing keeps me coming back and all that. So Hitman, if I enjoyed that loop as much as I enjoy sim racing, I think I would easily put like 200, 300 hours in that as well. But man, it's just IOI are really putting in the work, like Hello Games do for that.
Yeah, and I think just in general, I feel like you'd have more hours on GT if you wasn't having to cover. I say having, it's a choice. It's always a choice. But if you wasn't covering all these other games, it's the same thing with me.
Yeah,
I probably would still be playing Into Black. To now, I think
all the time.
Yeah, I think I'd still be playing Into Black. But there's so many games that come out, and constantly trying to cover them and get our views out and things like that. But for me, Hitman World of Assassination, I absolutely loved it when I jumped in. I'm looking forward to playing more of it when I get a chance, and probably by that point there'll be too much on there for me to even find time to what to do. So it'd be interesting. But anyways, next bit of news, and I snuck this one in because everyone knows about this now. But Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to PSVR 2 in 2026. Now, if you was like me and had the pleasure of watching PSVR without parole and Jammy live streaming the state to play, it was all silent. They saw the trailer of Microsoft Flight Sim, was like, "Oh, cool, it's coming!" And then it got to the end, and all of a sudden you saw Brian lose his absolute shit. Oh my god, PSVR 2! That's my best American impression right there. I hope
pretty good. That
I hope you don't get too offended, Brian. But so he's like that, and Jamie's like, "What? No, it's not." I can't do your voices up. But anywho,
I was like that.
Yeah. He's like 2 seconds. Let me go back, and then you just saw Jamie lose his shit. It was always like Jamie was on like a 20-second delay with this whole thing.
A fucking delay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I saw the trailer, and I think before the show started, I'd said we will probably get Microsoft Flight Sim here as a port to PS5 because we know it's coming. But I have no expectation. Realistically,
I didn't have any expectation of VR or anything.
I had no expectation.
No.
And then as soon as it got announced, I was like, kind of resigned. Like, yeah, I will get it for the flat screen because I enjoy it. But I don't care. No VR. and then Brian said that, and I was in my head. I thought he was
pulling.
He's fucking lying.
I saw it as well, and I was like, Jamie's gonna think he's pulling his leg. He's just taking a piss.
Yeah, I was like, you're wrong. It's not. And then I rewinded. I was like, what the fuck?
It was
big one.
It was, and I think you kind of mirrored every single thing I was thinking as well. Like, this game runs like absolute dog shit on some people's PCs. Like, and I mean, you can have a semi-decent PC, and this thing's still going to run really bad. You have to lower the quality. And I think even though I'm excited for it, like, I have so many concerns of how this is going to run at the same point on a PlayStation when a PlayStation itself is a lower quality than
quite an old. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even when you implement the PS5 Pro, yes, it has the PSSR and if they, and things like that, but not many games
they might utilize
that.
Yeah,
hopefully they can. Obviously, you've got DFR, but I believe Microsoft Flight Simulator uses DFR on PC, and I believe it has eye track. If you have certain headsets, it does have eye track foveated rendering.
I think that does boost performance by around. I don't know. I've seen uplifts of like 30 to 50 FPS in some good cases.
So, there's so many questions, and I think the people that know how this runs on PC are like, "Oh, I'm excited for it," but
curious,
worried. Yeah, we'll wait. We're looking forward to it, but we'll wait. So I'm kind of like, because everybody's like, "Yeah, but we use eye track," and I was like, "This is the one game that actually does have implementation of eye track on PC."
Yeah,
because I was like, I did all.
But I will. Yeah,
I don't know if people
think
use that though, but
yeah, for like. The other way around, I think if you took a game like Gran Turismo 7 with how high fidelity that is and ported it to PC and tried to run it in VR, not necessarily optimized how the game is optimized for PlayStation and PSVR 2,
I think they run like
I
hot
think
shit.
you'd see similar results. I
Yeah.
think it would run like shit. I genuinely think
Because I know
they probably
certain sim races on PC do run like shit. Like,
they're like GT7 is the best looking sim racing game of all time. And like there are games on PC that look so much worse that don't use the same techniques and run like ass. So I think Flight Sim definitely is possible. I think they'll have to have cutbacks like GT7 does with weather effects, with reflections. It has to be reprojected, obviously,
it'd be
and with
reprojected.
LOD draw distance. But I think they wouldn't have put this out publicly if they hadn't got some sort of promising build. I would
Yeah.
hope, being a solo at Microsoft. But then again, we've seen like the state of ports of like Skyrim and shit with not the technical side, but the fundamental VR side.
Yeah.
Skyrim VR vanilla is not good, and that was
No.
put out on PSVR
No.
1. So I
It
don't
was
know,
horrendous.
but I'm hopeful.
And then you played
I'm
it on
hopeful.
PC with the mods. You're like, oh right, this is
how it's supposed to be.
This is great. Why didn't they give me the mod menu, you bastards? I am excited because I'm one that hasn't played Flight Sim. I've always heard how demanding it is. I've watched videos and I've watched people's things go wrong with it. So it's one I've kind of steered clear of.
I'd say you'd probably, if you enjoy like the spectacle of stuff, like VR for me, there are quite a few games where like Kayak VR and Horizon where I just
think
kind of
that's
go
why
and
I'm
like
going to love
chill.
it. It's just like I'm going to be flying through
you're
and
just
I'm
going to
like,
take it in.
that's awesome, man. I'm going to be looking at the different environments, and I think that's just my brain just registering everything, and I think that's what I'm really excited for. So
Yeah,
even if they make it so it looks great, but doesn't run the best, I think I'm still going to walk away going, oh, that was awesome. I got to see that.
that was really cool.
Yeah,
It's not a fast-paced game,
exactly.
is it really? Unless you're flying like the stunt planes and stuff. But if I'm cruising around in a passenger plane and I'm taking in sights, I'm going to be happy. Like it's one of those where whatever state this comes out in, I'm going to buy it anyway. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm in.
It does rely on texture streaming though, which is like Wi-Fi based. So the actual install size of the game is quite small. When 2020 came out, which was the one before this, the install size of the game was about 150 gig because all the textures, apart from some streaming stuff, was packed in there. But for this one, at least at launch, it was about 30-40 gig, and then it streamed in the rest of the textures in real time. So if you're on the poorer end of Wi-Fi, which when I'm not at uni, I am, it's going to be interesting to see how that looks. But I don't know what the performance is like now. I just played it at launch. Another thing was when it came out at launch, because it's all reliant on the server streaming textures in, the servers crashed because the amount of people trying to play. So hopefully there's not a repeat of that on. I was
just load it up on PlayStation. Everyone's like,
genuinely, like, just like absolutely fucking looks terrible. Like I think I've got 150 hours in this version of Flight Sim. 30 of that it was installing the game because it was throttled on Microsoft side for some reason through Game Pass, and another 80 of that is just sitting in the queue while I slept. Thank God I wasn't paying for my fucking energy bill back in my old place, because thank God it was a flat fee included in my rent, because I honestly would have been
thank fuck you wasn't doing it in VR as well, because you'd just be laying there with a headset on. So yeah,
fucking terrible. But I'm hopeful for this port. Like I think it's a dream one, really. Like you can go anywhere in the world. Like you can, for me, being able to fly back to Tokyo and take that in, or head over to Iceland in Reykjavik and look over that place, or even go to your house, and flying over where you live and messing like the weather system.
I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be cool. Like just popping in your own,
so cool.
just flying over your house and be like, oh, I can see my house.
That's why stuff like that is why we play VR. Like that sort of, like those larger than life things that you'd never be able to fly a 747 over your house without going into financial ruin and becoming a pilot. So now you can do it in a game. You do it, £70,
and then you get fired. Yeah. So, but no, very excited for that. I can't wait to see more, hear more, and I'm also looking forward to basically showing some gameplay of the PSVR 2 port, so we can actually see how that looks. Because obviously at this point they showed all the actual gameplay, no kind of gameplay of PSVR 2. But then like, you read the blog and it kind of says like things are going to be interactable in the cockpit and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited.
On PC, it's similar to that. There's I think there's controller support in PC, so you can like flip all the switches, and because all of them work, like it's all model, it's amazing. And yeah, I think so I might have actually made this up in my head, but I want to say that somebody quoted somewhere that it was like meant to arrive by next April or something, but I think that's wrong.
I've not read or heard anything, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to fact check that. That might be completely wrong, so don't take that with a mountain of salt. But sometime next year is all we know for sure.
I feel like Q1, Q2, possibly Q3 with a push. Like I feel like if they're already going to have the game coming out, like how much more than maybe 6 to 8 months are they going to need to do the VR side of it when they've already announced it? So they must already be working on it, but it's just not finished. Or unless they haven't, they're just like, we're going to do it, but we haven't even started it yet, then there's also that kind of concern. But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know where it's at.
Yeah. So, lastly, in the bit of news, not really news, I just wanted to kind of quickly shout some of the games that are coming out across. Well, I say Quest as well because I put one Quest game in here, but mostly PSVR 2 and other platforms. Sort of the month of October. So we've got Dreams of Another, and these aren't in any order of what's coming first or all that kind of stuff. They're just ones that I've tried to remember. If I forgot a game, whack it in the comments. Let everyone know what's coming and what you're excited for. So we've got Dreams of Another, Memoriam, which is Quest. We've got Zero Caliber Remastered. Hopefully, they are saying they're aiming for October, but
yeah, they're aiming for it.
We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, that doesn't change because, weirdly enough, like even though I've played Zero Caliber Remastered, bloody hype to play this again. It's so weird. I'm like, I can't wait to play it again. This is so odd, which I think says a lot about the game itself. We've got Trenches VR, which I recently jumped into the non-VR version of that. This is going to be fucking terrifying in VR. It's going to be terrifying. It really is. Reach, which we've already raved about from what we played early. So
excited for that.
Can't wait. And lastly, possibly, maybe, who knows? Talk to your neighbour. They might know more than us because I don't think anyone knows at this point. But Aces of Thunder might be releasing in October as well. From the last week,
October 28th was the date, right?
Yeah, it was the store. Yeah, so hopefully that's still the case. Again, I continuously joke about this as most do, but I am genuinely excited to give this a go. I've not played many flying games in VR or outside of VR, so I'm excited to give that a go. So that's the news. Before we jump into what we've been playing, and I've only limited down to one game that I want to quickly talk about, let me just quickly say, if you would like to support the show, then please give this podcast a sub on the service you're using. If you're watching us on YouTube, please remember to hit that like and subscribe buttons. Why not leave a comment too? You can find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at CrossButton VR, and now also on Ko-fi, where you can support us to help keep the lights on around here. I missed a word. I hate doing this bit. Anyways, a big shout out to Golu and Phil, who are the monthly members. We appreciate you a lot. I need to change this whole script up. Alex had a little jab at me, and he's like, "Why are you still using Laurie?" So I was like, trying to keep it familiar, but now I kind of see it in there. I'm not really. I need to kind of make it like, "We're mate." All right. So, what have you played this week? One game. What have you been playing that you want to mention?
Flat or VR, either?
Actually, yeah.
Or we're going with the VR game.
Cool.
I got both.
Do one flat, one VR, because I want to talk about one flat as well, because the embargo will be lifted, and I want to talk about it.
For me, I've finally upgraded to Blade and Sorcery 1.0 recently. I've been playing with the old build U12 for ages because it had all the mods that I like, but all the mods that I like now are on the new build. So I basically, whenever I've not been on PSVR 2, I've been on Steam VR using the Lord of the Rings mods on Blade and Sorcery, and they're really fucking cool. So that's what I've been playing flat, and then that's what I've been playing VR even, and then in flat, I bought Assassin's Creed Shadows not that long ago. I'm playing through that. On base PS5, there's like a 40 FPS mode that looks amazing, and I've been really enjoying playing through that. That's been the world is really good. The story, not really liked it all, but the world is really cool.
Awesome. Right, two ones I've been playing. First one, let's go over the VR. That is Titan Isles from Cytec Games. That released. Absolutely loving it. A lot of fun. If you enjoyed Windlands in any way, shape, or form, this is better in every way. It's almost like they've took that base and they've went, let's see what we can do to make this better. And they've done exactly that. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. And every time I jump into it, I'm having an absolute blast. The scale of the Titans is really cool. So I'm excited to see how this looks on PSVR 2 when it comes in 2026. And this
next year, yeah.
Yeah, this was the game as well where I said haptics were implemented quite early, because when I played this early with John for the first time I ever tried it, I was like, is this working with the B haptics? Like, yeah, whack on your vest. And literally mid-game, I just put my vest on and all my stuff, like getting all dressed in VR while the headset's still on, and powered it all on. It was just absolutely fantastic with the B haptics. It works phenomenal with that. But yeah, the game itself is really good, a lot of fun. If you want to pick this up on Quest at the moment, you can use our code CBVR to save yourself a little bit of money, and then start playing a really fun game. So that was the VR one.
What about flat? Have you been playing flat?
I've been playing two flat games, and one of them I've already spoke about last week, so I'm not going to dive in, but I'm still playing Dune Awakening. I haven't stopped. I think if anyone sees my name on Discord, you're seeing Dune Awakening at the moment next to it. I think I've got about 60 hours in it at the moment since the trial happened, and yeah, it's an addiction. But as the embargo is lifted, I can talk about Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition.
Good? Bad?
Yeah. I think the problem is not with the game itself. It's the fact that I've played this in VR. And I think if you're playing this as a sole game and you're picking this up for the first time playing a non-VR game, and you're like, okay, it's an Alien game, I pick it up, I think you're going to be quite moved by the way it looks and things like that and the way it plays. You're like, okay, this plays like a normal Alien game. I'd still say Alien Isolation is better, but I would say this is still 10 times better than Colonial Marines in every way, shape, and form. So take that as you will.
Not a high bar, but
it's not a high bar. If you don't clear that bar, then you might as well just shut the game down straight away. Looks great, plays great. I think what really kind of made me go, oh, I want to go back to play the VR one is just the simple interactions of picking up items. You just kind of see a hand come forward and grab the stuff and hands on the handles and all that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, in VR, like I could open the door a lot quicker because
I miss doing that.
Yeah, I could quickly grab it, or the reloading, it's like really slow and like
very slow. Yeah.
And I think one thing that kind of shot me back that made me go, oh, why have you done that? I kind of thought in this version that the aliens themselves wouldn't sink into the ground after shooting them. I thought once you maybe walked away, and they still sink into the ground. And I think even now I'm kind of like, this bothered me on the PSVR 2 version, and this is.
But you kind of like, it's VR game and like, okay,
yeah, maybe that was a limit. Maybe that was a limitation, and I was like, it's still there like it. This is not a limitation. I'm like, why have they done that? So I've played it up to, I'm going to say I've probably played about 30 minutes. So this isn't a review of it. It's just more me kind of summarizing my thoughts of comparison.
Your impressions of it,
Yeah, and I like it. I'm having fun with it still, and I think that's more so because I know what to expect next, and I know I enjoyed the game somewhat. But I ran into a really weird bug, something that I never ran into on the VR version. You know them puzzle sections where you can use the little.
You connect like your little thing.
That feels weird as hell in non-VR because it feels very static. So you kind of you hover it over one bit and it kind of instantly grips to it. But I did one of those to open one of the save rooms, and when I did that, it brought me out of it. I couldn't move. Wouldn't let me move forward. Wouldn't let me move back. Wouldn't let me rotate. And I was like, okay, my last save point is back when I've just done the intro, so I need to save now. I was like, I'm not doing all that again. So the only way I could figure out to get to the save point was by dashing. So I kept dashing weirdly to get to this save point, and I got to the save point. I saved the game, and I was about to close it and reopen it. After I pressed save, it let me move around again. I was like, "That's so fucking weird."
That's really odd.
So odd. So I don't know if anyone else is going to run into that issue, but if you're next to a save room, just dash away there and hope for the best. Like I said, though, looks good. And there's another bit as well that kind of again made me go, "You can tell this was a VR game," because every other first-person shooter Alien game, it wouldn't let you pick up everything in the environment, books, photo frames, all that kind of stuff. Everything is interactable because everything like that is interactable in the VR version, which then makes me believe that this was already, if you only went, oh, was it made as a VR game? Then they decided, or they already had this planned and they kind of went for the VR first. I feel like it was always a VR game first in development.
Yeah, with little things like that. Like we've seen with the opposite side with Resident Evil, like none of that's like pick upable when you're going around the world, for lack of a better term. But here it is,
But like you could just pick it up and just hold on to it, and it's like, why? I did find myself using the Alien, the sensor a lot more, which I think made me feel like I was more in an Alien game. So I appreciated that. But I think if anyone was to pick this up and go, oh, I want to play an Alien game, I'm excited to play this story. I don't think you'll necessarily be disappointed with the story or the gameplay itself, but I would also say don't go in and thinking this is a AAA Alien game because it doesn't feel AAA as a first-person non-VR game, and I wouldn't say it did necessarily feel AAA as a VR game.
No, I'd say it's like single or double A at the most in VR. Yeah,
but either way, I'm still having fun with it and I'm still enjoying it. But at the same point, I'm kind of like, I know I can just pull out of this at any point and just go in the VR version and be locked in this world. So I think this is definitely for people that haven't played the VR version. Like, and maybe if you do pick it up and you go, oh, I've heard this is in VR, I'd urge you then to try the VR version if you haven't, because it just it's still fun. I still think people will enjoy it, but the VR version just
that's how it's meant to be.
It just absolutely soils all over it. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what I've been playing a little bit of, and I am going to go back and continue playing it. I want those trophies, so give me trophies. But, yeah. Anyways, that's it for us. Anything else you'd like to say, Jamie, me boy?
I think that's all from me for today.
Good.
Thief enjoyable. Games are good right now. Flight Sim is very exciting. That's what I'll round this episode off with.
And PSVR 2 is not dead. There we go. Um,
No.
and as always, thanks again for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you please tell your family and friends about us. If you'd like to get more involved, please don't hesitate to drop into our Discord and say hi. And thank you to everyone who's already done so. I've been your host, Reece, and I've been joined once again by Jamie. And until then, you can all go over to his channel and subscribe. But yeah, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Goodbye.